This screencast is to show you how to assign student portal passwords in STI. First thing you need to do is go to your web browser, so Safari, Firefox, whatever you choose. Once you're in here, you got to get to STI, so however you choose to go about going to STI. Once you're in STI, put in your username and password. Jen allowed me to use her username and password so that I do not accidentally reassign the passwords to my students who already have their own. Log in. Once you're on your main page, you need to click on Utilities towards the bottom. In Utilities, it should automatically default to Assign Home Passwords, but if it doesn't, make sure you're clicked on Assign Home Passwords. Then you can click Next. Once you're on this screen, you need to be very careful as to what you choose and what your settings are, because you can accidentally reassign passwords to all the parents on your team. And if your parents already have their own passwords, it will lock them out of being able to access grades. So in this case, we're going to have our target group as students. You can choose to exclude any passwords that were reset in the last 14 days, but if this is the first time you're assigning passwords to your students, then I would uncheck this box. The password type, you can choose to allow the system to generate a password for your students, but I found that the passwords were very complicated and long. User defining the password makes it easy. I gave all my students Freedom 1 as their password because it was easy to remember and fit all of the password rules, and nobody seemed to forget it. Then your output, you can choose your output as a CSV file, which might not be very useful to you unless you put it in an Excel spreadsheet and know how to do that. You can choose Pin Slip 1 Up, which means each student will have one piece of paper with their username and password. Or you can choose Pin Slip 3 Up. I choose to use Pin Slip 3 Up just because it's 3 passwords on one page. It saves paper when you print this out for the students for the first time. Then you need to choose how you want to order your students. I chose student name because alphabetically it makes the most sense. And then the student ID number, if you'd like to print the ID number, you can, but it's not really necessary. Then you click Next. Once you're in the next section, you need to choose which group of students now you are going to assign these passwords to. I chose to teach my students how to use Student Portal in my science classes. So for one day, we spent the day learning how to check our grades online in science. I had the laptops for the day, and it made it really easy for all the kids to learn it in one place. If you choose to have your Excels teach it, you can do that if you're going to share the laptops on different days. So however you're going to group the kids when you teach them this is how I would recommend generating the passwords. You'll be generating the passwords for different groups. So in this case, we'll generate them for one of Jen's science classes because I know her plan is to teach the kids in science. All you need to do, there's a lot of boxes, you only have to fill in the one that says section number. If you don't know the section number, you can click Find. Look up your classes by your last name. And here, I'll choose one of Jen's science classes. It puts the section number in, and then you click Next. Here, it has pulled up the students from Jen's science class. This is the time in which you might want to check that every kid in that class is actually on this list. STI has a fun way of not always linking everything correctly. If they are, or at least if you want to get these students assigned, you can say Add All, and your target list will now have all the students that you're assigning passwords to. The next thing to check is Assign. This will erase any sort of password they have and change it to the Freedom 1 password that we assigned. So be careful not to do this if you've accidentally clicked Contacts, because you'll be reassigning it to all the parents. Click Assign. A box will pop up asking you what format you'd like your information to come out as. PDF always works nicely. preview. Just like any other report in STI, this will bring you your PDF file. And this is a file that has 3 student passwords on each page. You can see here Liliana's password. Here's the student name. Here's her username and her password. Her student number is printed because that was a choice. All that you need to do is just cut it apart along this line, and you could give Liliana just the small piece of paper so that she knows how to log in. It even has the website to go to when they're at home. I'd recommend saving this file so that you don't have to re-look up a student's username every single time they forget. But when I have the students log in and check their grades, what they need to make sure to do is write down this username. They'll easily remember El Acuna, but they'll forget the 2 random numbers that it assigns them at the end. So I have them write it in their assignment notebooks in a safe place so that they'll always know it's there. That's it. So you can close out of STI, or I guess close out of this. Now we've assigned passwords to one of Jen's classes, so you'll want to go back and choose a different section number. Look up your name again, or if you remember your section numbers, you can do that. And so we'll choose Jen's next science class, and you go through the same process of assigning it to the other course. That's it. You can log out of STI, and you've now assigned all of the passwords.